Call to order the March 8th, 2022 Transportation Committee meeting. Unfortunately, tonight we do not have a quorum. Councilwoman Cazzo, Councilman Mason, and Councilman, Lambert weren't able to make it. Fortunately, Councilman Melanson is right here by my side. But what I would like to do is we have been fortunate enough to have some of the Rodriguez family come on one of the items, and we're going to move straight to item G, and that is renaming of Lawrence Bruley Road back to Rodriguez Road. What I'm going to do first is let Mr. Turo come up. He wanted to make a presentation to give some background on this, and then I'd love to hear from the family.
I did not make a good caption of it. It's not for me to force the name change one way or the other. I was just tasked to research the road and why it was changed, how it was changed. So that's what I have in this packet for you, just showing that on a Transportation Committee meeting on October 11th of 2011 was whenever the request was made to change the road name from Rodriguez Road to Lawrence Bruley Road, which is a road off of LA 405, which is River Road in Donaldsonville, actually north of Donaldsonville, north of Smoke Bend. And Deborah DeOrman, that used to work for the parish, did a lot of this, the majority of the research on this. But it just shows the item that was used in that committee meeting. It also has a copy of the council meeting where it was allowed to be changed. But the last page I thought was interesting in that it shows, the attempt to meet the requirements of the number of residents in the area that agreed to the change. And as you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that signed the petition, or whatever you call that document, saying that they agreed that it needed to be changed. Well, everyone that signed it was a Bruley, and I don't have who the property owners were at the time, but I know today there's at least one property owner that's a Rodriguez, and there's no Rodriguez name here on this 2011 petition. And I think that's what the party that's here can maybe give some more insight as to who were the property owners back then and who they are now. I looked it up on the assessor's map, and I did see that there was at least one Rodriguez that still lived on the road, and there's others that don't have the Rodriguez name, but I guess that's really what I wanted to point out, was the documents that were used to make that decision back in 2011, and just to leave it up to y'all or the council to decide one way or the other.
Okay, and just so the family knows that tonight we can't take any action on this because we don't have a quorum, but because they drove all this way, I thought it was important that we allow them to speak.
Thanks.
And normally there's a 3-minute limit. We'll allow you to surpass that. If you would just introduce yourself at the podium.
Yes, my name is Danielle Rodriguez, and I'm a descendant of my grandfather who owned the property. And I grew up in Donaldsonville or Modes, where the property is, and I moved away. When I came back home, I found out they changed the name, and so I said, oh wow, why they changed the name? And so I started researching, and I called one of you guys, somebody that worked for the parish, and she told me that a request was put in October 2011 to change the name. And so I said, well, what are the requirements and the rules to change the road? And she said you have to have at least 10 signatures. And what Mr. Joy pointed out, if you look at the papers that's already on file, they only have 5 signatures. And nobody who owns the property on that road was notified. And we've never got a notification because my uncle, who's here today, Stanford Rodriguez, he still pays the taxes on the property, and he's up there maintaining it. And so I got all the paperwork from, I forgot the parish president, and he gave me all the stuff Mr. Joy just said, and I said, well, I don't think it was done right, and we should have been notified and at least had an objection to the road change. But long story short, I'm just get to the point. They changed the road, and I don't think they had good reason, because the property that the Bruley family owns is on the other side of the highway that's in the levee. If you drive up there, you could see. I don't think anybody drove up there to see. It's on the other side of the highway in the water, you know, where the Mississippi River, the levee. That's where their property is. Since I've been living, I've never known them to live on that road. I grew up on that road. I used to ride my bike with no shoes on that road. And now all of a sudden, where do they change the name? And so we just wanted to be put back or explain to us how it was done, that they could just change the name and not notify anybody else. And the other families that's on the road, according to the parish website, is Elizabeth Brunswick, Mr. Robertson Jr., and they all are still paying taxes on that road. And now the road doesn't exist, but we're still getting mail in the Roderick Road name. So it all seems like a big mess, because how do you pay for something and the road is not there and not even notified? I was the one that notified other property owners, so I didn't want to kick up dust, but I just felt like they had to know something was going on. So, but I think all this started is because the military, I don't know if y'all are aware, they wanted to buy that property, Modes. It's in the country, it's beautiful, it's quiet, but the majority of the landowners, which are the farmers, they turned down because they said it wasn't enough money. And I think that's how people are starting to trying to claim. I don't know, I could be speculating, but that's how I think all this started. And so we're just trying to get the road changed back, see why he's up there. Then I find out he's put a trailer up there on somebody's property. I don't think it's his property, so somebody needs to ride up there and check it out, because, like I said, his name doesn't pop up on that street at all for him to be. He's cleaned off some land. I was told, you know, I haven't driven up there in a while, but I will be, and he's put a trailer up there, so I don't know where all this is coming from. And so that's all I wanted to say. And basically, I got an email from Miss Ruth, the parish president's secretary, and she carbon copied Councilman Alvin Thomas, Joy Broussard, Joy Turo, and Deborah somebody, Dearman. And she said, basically, the Roderick Lane should have remained with the Roderick Lane name, and that the Bruley family never lived along the Roderick Road. And that's the email they sent me on August of last year. But then, you know, the hurricane came. Every time we make some steps, something happened in the weather. I said, oh, man, I can't make no headway. But I'm glad they're at least looking into it and see that I had some valid concerns, you know. And like I said, we're up to date on the property, and all the taxes are still being paid by all 3 families that still live there. I mean, that still own the property.
Just for clarification, this road is just north of Chapman Road?
Right, it's past
Right, okay.
Chapman Lane, yeah, yes,
Gotcha.
sir.
On Google Maps, it's still Roderick Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
oh, yeah, it is, and that's what I'm saying. But if you go up there, the sign is not there, and we're still getting mail in Roderick Lanes.
Gotcha.
I mean, you know what I'm saying, and yeah, but the sign is gone.
Got it.
Yeah, it's right past Chapman Road or
Gotcha.
Chapman Lane, if you look on there. But the lady I called, she said sometimes that map is not accurate, but I told her, I mean, what else do we have to go by? You know,
Yeah.
it's all in purple or blue when it pops up, and so that's what we going by, you know?
One of my thoughts on this is that Joey, I think you said it required 10 signatures.
That's
And
right.
if they didn't have 10, it seems like that would invalidate any action they took back in 2011.
That's right.
So we wouldn't even have to necessarily take any action as a council or transportation committee to get it put back to Rodriguez Lane officially if the original action was invalid. So that's something I think I'll talk to Joey about later, get our legal department to look at.
Yeah, and we're just trying to notify, like, do y'all have a copy of the letter they say they sent us? Because if I don't read my grandmother's mail, he reads the mail, or one of my other uncles. Everybody attacks that mail, so it's not like we just ignored it, because we're still paying the taxes, you see? And he's up there every week.
I don't see a copy
But
of the
when
letter
he-
in our package.
Yeah, so when he called and he said, why did y'all change? And so the lady, I don't remember her name, told him that it wasn't nothing he could do. And I was like, oh, no, it's always something you could do. I mean, at least give you a valid answer. And she never gave him a good reason why they changed it. And so that's why I started kicking up dust a little bit. Not trying to make a mess, but I just want our property to remain and everybody else who owns it to, you know, to be fair, you know?
Absolutely.
So.
Looks like we're not interesting enough, though. We got people reading books out there.
Look, so maybe we can ask Mr. Turo if, speak to legal and see if it was valid in the first place, and if there is an action that needs to be taken, instead of bringing it back here, maybe we can ask Coach Thomas as a third sponsor and put it just straight to the full.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the
on a full
people,
council agenda.
I think the people that approved it are no longer here, so that's probably,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
don't-
yeah. And I think Alvin Thomas just got reelected or something, so he might not have
So,
that much knowledge. I mean, yeah, but if you look, I don't know if you have the paper, I think Councilman Oliver Joseph was on that paper and
Yes.
proved it,
Yeah.
but
When you said
I really don't think anybody researched it and
Right.
enough to change it, because
Right.
he doesn't even own anything on that side of the highway, so.
Yeah, on the official minutes, it was on our consent agenda, which means it came out of transportation.
Oh.
And there wasn't even conversation on it at that meeting.
I
It was-
see.
It was on the consent agenda.
Yeah,
But if that's good with everybody, we'll get with Mr. Joey. And if there is something that we need to do, we can, with myself, Mr. Lawler, and Mr. Thomas, we can ask for it to be put on the full council agenda. That way
Right.
y'all don't have to come back out for another.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever
Small
y'all
meeting.
decide, it's fine. We just want to get to the bottom of it,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Would any of your family members have anything else to add? You can come up to the microphone.
Our TV guy's grumpy. He doesn't like when people talk from out there.
My name is Stanford Rodriguez. I'm the one that maintained the lane up there, and I've been paying the taxes. Taxes come every year, and I've been paying. My daddy, Larry Rodriguez, on the lane. And I remember the day when they changed the sign and put the name up there, and I asked it after I confirmed and told my niece, I said, they did change the name from Larry Rodriguez. And I confirmed one of y'all councilmen, which was Oliver Jones at that time. He denied it. I said, well, Oliver, how could they change the name like that? He said, well, I sign people all the time. I don't know about it. He said, he denied that. He didn't know nothing but it at that time. And I asked him, until my niece did the research, that's when his name popped up. I said, well, that's a predicament. Now, he knew all the time what was really going on, you know, because I was upset that they changed it. I thought to pull the sign out. I said, no, they're going to arrest me, send me to jail. So I didn't do that one. So I said, well, I'm going to go through the legal procedures, how this going to work out. And that when me, I started talking about it and everything. And I'm 62-year-old, and I've been cleaning and taking care of everything up there. The mailbox used to be up there, but it's not up there now. I wanted to put it back up there, but I wanted to make sure the Rotary name come on there. So I knew all who lived in the area, and I know the area, front and back, and I'm telling them different things that what I know. You know, the knowledge of what I know. So I've been up there all my life, I know. And I be up there just about every other day. And if one of y'all come, y'all would have seen me up there. If you go up there. So that's all I wanted to say about it.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you all very much. With that, I'll listen to a motion to adjourn, and I'll second that motion.
Motion to adjourn.
And I'll second that. Thank you all very much.